Welcome to Tea Time. And it's Wednesday. Sorry, guys. You know, those weird schedules that happen, especially with summer. Anyways, I'm Dr. Smith from Accomplished Health and Wellness here in Lawrence. And this is Heather Fiore from Free State Nutrition, also here in Lawrence. And today we are going to talk about intuitive eating. So, like listening to our body cues, basically. So, how do we do that? I don't even know. I mean, listen to when you're full, obviously, but
right.
we lose that a lot.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that kids we're all born with the ability to respond to our hunger cues, right? If you ever tried to like overfeed a baby, like it's not impossible, but you have to work at it. Like they really know
and
when
they vomit.
Like they know when they are full.
Yeah.
And little kids know when they're full.
Yes.
But
sometimes I'm like, man, if only I could not finish that ice cream like Emmeline.
Right. Couple of bites
full and she's done.
They don't care if they've taken a half a bite or they've taken 5 bites or there's 1 bite left. It doesn't matter. When they're done, that is the end.
Yeah.
And the problem comes when adults interfere. And we encourage them, one more
finish
bite.
Our plate.
You got to clear your plate.
You got to clear your plate.
You can't have dessert until you've eaten all of whatever. Like all of those things are interfering with our kids' ability to know, to trust their bodies.
Right.
Like we're basically telling you, no, your body doesn't know as well as I do, which is nonsense. We don't know. You know.
Right.
So that is the start of it. So we should never encourage our kids to finish. We should encourage them to maybe stay at the table and be social if that's what we want.
Yeah.
And ask them, are you sure you had enough to eat? Like, oh, you forgot to eat this or you didn't have any of that. Do you? No? Okay. And there's no pressure involved, right?
Sure.
You just say, okay, you're done.
I remember this one thing that you said about, and it made sense to me after you said it, about kids and dessert, right? So when you're looking forward to something, then you save room for dessert, right?
Right.
And so kids would too if they knew they were going to get dessert. But then you were saying if they say they want more, then you should offer them dinner again. Like you can't have more dessert, but you saved enough room that you can have the rest of your dinner. Yeah,
right. You don't get double servings of dessert.
Right.
But you can.
Which that's smart.
You can go back to your dinner if you're still hungry. That's good.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be forced to finish your dinner in order to earn your dessert, for sure. Right.
Right, because then they might be eating through their cue.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that's the start of it. We've interfered and we've trained kids to not listen to their bodies and to listen to external cues. Worse than that, listening to adults. And then at some point, adults are not there, right? And now you're off into the world, and your mom isn't there to tell you when you've had enough, and you don't know. And right?
You're in college, and you're like,
exactly. And there's just unlimited food.
My mom said to finish my food. Yeah. And this is good.
Yeah, and it's good, and there's lots of it. So then what happens is people start dieting. Because they need direction. They don't know how to eat. And so they're like, oh, let me try this diet or that diet, or,
all those fad diets.
Somebody's always talking about some diet that they're on. So that's what you do. Like, well, let me do Weight Watchers. That seems sensible.
Yeah.
So you go on these diets, and they're all very different, as we've discussed, but they all have the same theme of not teaching you how to trust your body. In fact, doing the opposite of that. Don't trust your body. Trust this diet to tell you this is how much you should eat, this is what you shouldn't eat, these are the good foods, bad foods, right? All of its rules and restriction on calories or something to get you to lose weight.
Right.
Yeah. And so that is the first problem, that you now have no idea how to trust your body, and the only way you know how to eat is by following a bunch of rules.
That's not good.
It's terrible.
It's boring.
Right, and people get tired of it. So they hop around to different diets.
They give up.
And they try all the different rules, and it gets messy. So
and then you get confused because you got like the rule over here and the rule over there, and
they
which
blend
rule do
together.
I follow? And was that right? I don't know.
Right.
When you just listen to your stomach tell your brain to tell your mouth to stop eating. Right?
Yeah, it does happen. So intuitive eating has 10 principles.
Okay.
And I will kind of describe each one briefly. I could go on like a lot, and I will try not to do that because I just want to like briefly touch on each one so we understand.
Okay.
But the first one, the first principle, and the first thing I usually do when I'm working with a client on these, on this topic, is ditching the diet mentality. So getting rid of this idea that you need rules and you need restriction.
Okay.
So the problem with the restriction, as we've talked about before, is you tell your body you cannot have certain foods, right? Or you have to eat a certain number of calories or whatever it is. It's a restriction,
right?
One way or another. And the mentality that you then have is that you want whatever the thing is that you're not allowed to have,
right?
Whether it's more
like
this,
you start craving it.
You start craving, and you for some people they can follow the rules for a certain period of time, and then more often than not, people are just like, I'm done. I gotta have the thing, and then they eat like all of the thing, right?
Yeah. Once I was eating way too many sweets, and I was like, I've got to cut down on this because I usually like allow one sweet a day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty reasonable. Sure. Like a little chocolate bar or whatever. I like dark chocolate. And so I was eating too much and they were getting bigger. And so I was like, I got to cut this out. I just am going to cut it out so that I can reprogram my brain to not want the sugar because really that's what I wanted. Mm-hmm. I was dreaming about sugar sandwiches. I'm not joking. 2 pieces of bread with some sugar in it. Yes. The first 2 weeks were horrible. But then after that, I was like, okay, I can do it. And then, I went back to my little chocolate bar.
Right. It sort of worked, but like it's painful.
It wasn't painful. Nobody wants to dream sugar sandwiches, man. Those brownies that I was eating beforehand were... Yeah.
But that's a perfect example of restriction. Like when you restrict, then you crave it. Yeah. And you also get this impression that your body can't be trusted. Like if I let my body eat candy, I would just be eating sugar sandwiches all day long.
Right.
Like that's how it's going to go if I open the floodgates.
Yeah.
And so that is
I should have just cut it down.
Right.
And trusted myself to cut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next. Mm-hmm. I won't get myself into that position again.
But we live and learn.
Hopefully. But next time if I do, I'll just cut it down.
Yes. That is the more humane way to do this. Like, don't go crazy and telling yourself no. Because we don't like no.
Right. No, we don't.
So that's one big thing is like just the whole thing of like ditching this idea that you have to count calories, that you have to have restriction in order to like be healthy or lose weight or, be successful at, eating like a regular person.
Yeah. I think that's very common actually through the diets anyway, is this restriction, elimination.
Yeah. They all do it one way or another. Like they call it other things, but that's what it is. So the next thing to do,
this one's interesting,
is honoring your hunger.
How do you do that?
And you really have to listen.
So you're like, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat.
Yeah. Okay. And you have to.
So it wasn't like, I'm hungry, woo, I'm going to throw a party.
Right. Don't throw a party. It's
party in honor of my hunger.
We don't have to like celebrate. We just have to eat. Like you have to, do what your body says. Okay. And the thing is in the beginning, people will say, oh, I'm hungry all the time. Like,
I don't think
you're not hungry all the time. You just are under this like restrictive mindset. Well, when you've got that restrictive thing, then you are feeling hungry
because you're cutting your calories and all of that.
Right. And your body, your brain thinks, that it wants food all the time because it's like, I don't know when you're going to eat. I'm just going to send, it's like Pavlov's dogs, right? It's like the bell is just ringing, and they're just like, I don't know, I'm just going to go every time. I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So the body's just sending out hunger signals, not knowing when you're going to respond and when you're not.
Okay.
So you need to listen up. You need to listen to your actual stomach, not your brain, because your brain is all messed up. And yes, it's always thinking about food because you've got all this, you're under all this, this diet mentality thing. Yeah. And you think about food when you're dieting for sure.
Yeah.
So you need to listen to your
stomach.
You
think of.
Right. But sometimes it starts a career, right? People are like, I think I'm going to be a chef.
Right.
So you really need to listen to your stomach. What's your stomach saying?
Okay.
Am I hungry right now? Is my stomach sending signals and to my brain, or is it my brain just saying like, oh, you should eat right now? Ooh, this sounds good. That sounds good. But like, what's your stomach actually saying? You know, really getting back in touch. And when your stomach sends hunger signals, you eat.
Like your stomach's growling?
It could be growling, or it could be, it could be a number of things. Like not everyone has stomach growling, but you know, it might just feel empty, or you might have like sort of a weakness, or you know, like it could be any number of things that signal like it's time to eat. Like my body is hungry right now.
All right, food. My body doesn't need hungry. It needs food.
So then you have to eat and the more consistently you respond to that signal, the more consistently your body will send the signal instead of just sending it willy-nilly. Like it'll start to be more like, yes, I'm hungry. No, I'm not hungry. And you'll have times when you're like, I'm actually not hungry. This is amazing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's honoring your hunger. And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because the next thing is respecting your fullness.
Right.
Which is also hard to do when you've been on diets and you stop eating because, you know, you've eaten your allotted number of calories or whatever.
Right. And you're still hungry.
Mm-hmm. And you walk away from the table hungry. That is the worst.
That is the worst.
This is why people are always cranky when they're dieting.
Right.
It is.
It is bad.
Yeah.
That's why we don't diet. We lifestyle change, right?
Yeah. And the other thing is when you're not, you know, dieting and you're just eating normal, what do? You eat until the food's gone.
Right.
Don't we though?
If it's really good, sometimes we even go back for seconds.
I know.
And then you're like sitting there afterwards going, I'm going to throw up.
Right. Like I overdid it.
Or you get that indigestion because you know you ate too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's not that you ate something that makes you have it. It's just there's too much
food in there.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you can't do anything.
No.
But sit on the couch because
and wait.
And like
maybe open your butt.
Yeah, you gotta open your butt
on.
like Al Bundy, you know?
Exactly.
You're Al Bundy in it. Yeah.
Yes. So that you know, both of those situations are a result of, you know, the diet mentality. So what we need to do is really check in throughout the process of eating. Like, am I full yet? Like, have I had enough to eat yet? No? Okay, I'm going to keep going. But I'm going to eat at a pace where I can actually get the message at the right time, right? Because if you scarf your food down in 10 minutes,
you can't.
It's not time yet.
Your brain hasn't caught up with your stomach.
Right. You need like 20 minutes.
So have you ever heard of that? Like if you finish your plate and then you want more, you should wait 10 minutes and then think like, assess yourself and say, am I really hungry? Or was it just that it was so good? Is that?
I mean, I don't know if you like definitely need 10 minutes, but you do need to like stop and think, right? Okay. And like I said, if you scarf down in 10 minutes, then you should definitely wait another 10 minutes. If you ate at a reasonable pace, then by the end you should have.
Does anyone eat at a reasonable pace?
People do. Really? Yes. That's and good. Particularly there are certain kids, like some kids really scarf like adults do.
Yeah.
And others, like one of my kids is a slow eater, and actually one of our old neighbors, they have one slow eater and everybody else eats at a scarf. And they have a rule, like, you know, you can't be excused from the table until everyone's done, except for her. Like, if she's still eating, like, just leave because she's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
So there are people that eat really slowly. And while it can be frustrating for the rest of the family, like, it's really a good quality to have to eat slowly. Because then, yes, you get to the end of your meal, or you're eating along and you're stopping in between, and then you can say like, am I finished? Like, maybe there's still food on my plate, but maybe I'm done.
Right.
And that is like really empowering.
And that's actually why it's good to have dinner as a family, because you can incorporate the discussion, you know, like you don't have to just sit there and go, you can like talk. Yeah, it slows you down. It allows you to assess what's going on in your person and your family, right?
Right. But there's also distracted eating where, like say,
eating in front of the TV.
If you're eating in front of the TV, now your whole brain is totally occupied with something else, and you're just going through the motions of eating, and you are going to eat until the food's gone.
That's what happens at the movie theater with popcorn.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know, we were just talking about Brian Wansink, right?
Yeah.
This food psychologist guy at Cornell, and he did a really cool study where he like had a movie theater type of situation with stale, like 15-day-old popcorn in buckets. I mean, it's not like moldy or anything, but
right? But it's stale.
It's just not good.
It, like in your normal situation, you wouldn't eat it.
And you wouldn't, but you're sitting at a movie theater and it's in these big containers and it's right nearby, and people ate it and they'd be like, oh, that's not good. But then they keep eating it.
That's not good.
No. And
that is not listening to your body.
No.
Because your tongue was still in your brain. No.
Yeah, I don't want that. But yet we're just like, it's so, you know, ingrained. We just eat what's in front of us. Like that is mindless eating to the T.
Yeah.
So so you want to be sort of mindful while you're eating so that you can stop at the right time. Stop when you're comfortably full. That is so hard. Like for so many reasons for everyone, like really hard. But such an important thing to master. You know, so you constantly need to revisit that one. That one is like we're never done talking about that.
No. You know, even last night I was eating like taco salad. I love Mexican food. And so I was doing the dishes and I was like, man, I should have stopped 5 bites before I stopped.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like something you always have.
I mean, I do it too. And I'm always so like annoyed. Like, really?
Yeah. That's how I was. Oh, man, why did I do that?
Why did I just do that?
Now I'm going to pay for it.
And sometimes you know, like, you're doing it, even while you're doing it. Like, I know I should stop, but
cheesecake. That happens to me with cheesecake. Man, cheesecake calls my name. And I could be full. And that cheesecake sits in front of me, and I cannot not bite into it. It's bad.
Yeah. But the thing that's important is that this is all normal eating. Like all these things are part of normal eating. It happens to everyone. It's a matter of like how often. Like if that's your usual thing that happens to you, that's not
good.
But it happens here and there.
That's
totally normal and expected because we're humans.
Right.
And you know,
we like pleasurable things like cheesecake.
We do. So so one of the other big things here, kind of relating to the ditch the diet mentality, is you've got to challenge the food police, and those are the people with the rules, right?
That's like the diet people?
Yeah, those are the diet people, and the good food and the bad food, you know, and making peace with food. So
food is okay.
Allowing yourself to eat whatever you feel like eating. It doesn't mean anything.
Unless it's McDonald's.
No.
Every day.
I mean, not every day, of course, but you're not going to want it every day because that would make you feel gross.
It would.
But you might crave it. I know, but if you're doing all this other stuff, you're not going to want it every day.
Okay, good.
No, because you've got to be in touch with your body. If you're at all in touch with how your body...
Right, because then you'll feel the sludge afterwards.
Then your body's going to be like, you know what, never mind. That might sound good up here, but nowhere else. So no, it's a no. So when you've got all this stuff... You know, you're internalizing all these messages, you will not crave McDonald's every day. But if you do crave it, then you don't tell yourself like, ooh, no, you can't have it, that's bad. It's like, okay, just go get it, go have it.
And then be done.
And it's no big deal.
And then your body won't want it so much.
Right. And then you're not going to be like obsessing about it and craving it. And then like getting the, 10-piece nugget and then whatever. I don't even know what
the large,
whatever the largest.
I remember when I was growing up, I would say something like at dinner, we would always eat together. And at dinner, I remember saying something. I can't remember what I said to my brother, but I remember him looking at me and go, "What are you, the food police?"
Totally.
Yeah, I was.
You were.
I was his food police.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways,
so those people that are in your head that are telling you like things are bad,
stop,
and like all this like judgment on you for your food choices, they're not helpful.
No.
Okay, they're mean, and
they're like the little devil guy on your shoulder.
Yeah. Right, or pretending to be the little angel. Like no.
Oh yeah, the one that pops up.
Yeah. They're not helpful.
They're lying.
Yeah. And they like making yourself feel bad because of foods you feel like eating or for foods you've already eaten doesn't do anything to change your behaviors in the future.
Right.
If anything,
It
it makes
makes you
you
feel
feel
bad.
It makes you feel defeated.
Yeah.
And like, I am terrible.
And if I'm always going to be defeated, then I'm just not going to do it.
Right. Then obviously I'm not, I might as well give up now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. You said you're terrible. You were saying that.
Oh,
I'm terrible.
Right. I'm bad at this, and I might as well just not even try because I can't do this. I don't have the willpower. It's really.
But everyone does, if they're listening to themselves and not the guy on your shoulder.
The thing about it is, it's not about willpower. Like, it shouldn't require willpower.
Right.
If you're really trusting yourself to give you the right messages.
Right.
And your body will. Like, your body will want the right things in the right, amounts. And it will want stuff that's not good for you sometimes. But you trust your body and you listen and you honor what your body's telling you. It will not lead you astray.
Right.
And it will not require you to overpower your messages from up here.
Right.
That's willpower up here. Like, don't rely on this.
Right.
Because willpower like wears out at the end of the day. That's why
and
people end
sometimes like especially with certain foods and like certain times of the month, especially in women, your body will tell you to eat certain foods because you're lacking the nutrients at that time of the month or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you should listen to those.
That's right.
And not ignore it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because, we know that real cravings will not go away. They will not be appeased by, some like sugar-free cookie or something.
Right.
Like, that's not going to do it. Go get the thing that you really want, enjoy it, and then move on. Don't judge yourself. Okay. Just move right on.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the other piece of this whole, challenging the food police, making peace with food, like really being okay with whatever you're feeling like eating.
Yeah.
And for my clients, there's this hurdle to get over because you open the floodgates, like, okay, I can eat anything I want. What do I want? And in the beginning, like, you want all sorts of stuff that you're like, ooh, I can eat this and that. Really? I can eat Doritos. And so you eat these things, like, so in the beginning, like, there was a little extra eating going on, but it normalizes because you take the power away from those foods eventually.
The food. Yeah.
Like, Doritos are not special. You can have Doritos if you want. So the next thing here is discovering the satisfaction factor. So you're eating all this stuff that you're now like allowed to eat, right? But you need to make sure it tastes good.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to eat something.
And that it makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm,
because not all food does.
Right. But eat it and taste it and enjoy it.
Right.
Because if you're not doing that, then don't bother.
Why are you eating it? Yeah. Why are you putting it in your mouth?
Right. And that's why most of the time you're going to stop when you get comfortably full. Because beyond that point, let's be honest, it really doesn't taste nearly as good when you're already full.
Right. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It doesn't. And we learn that and we relearn it because that's how we.
And it makes your stomach achy.
Yeah. So you eat the food and you enjoy it. You make sure your food is delicious. You don't eat stuff that you don't want to eat. Don't make yourself eat stuff. Okay?
But you should try new things.
Of course, you should try things, but you shouldn't make yourself eat stuff.
Right.
Yes, beyond a bite.
Yeah, like if it's gross.
Yeah.
Don't keep eating it.
No.
There's no point.
Right. Yes. Don't eat things that
no point.
Good. So you want your food to be delicious and you want to enjoy it. So you need to be present, and that's part of this whole process, right? Yeah. You're present because you're tasting and you're enjoying, and you're also touching base, like, how full am I? Am I satisfied? Have I had enough? And when the food stops tasting as good, that's when it's time to stop.
That's when you stop.
And it's easy. Like, put it away and enjoy it another day.
And you don't have to clean your plate if that's before that point, right?
You absolutely should not clean your plate unless that's really what you want to do.
Just don't eat through your cue.
It's just as simple as that. It is so hard.
It is.
So, and that kind of takes us to our next point, which is honoring your feelings without food. Right? And we all do that. And again, it's part of normal eating to once in a while eat out of, some emotional reason. Maybe it's boredom, maybe it's anger, maybe it's sadness, maybe it's loneliness,
maybe it's your menstrual cycle.
Right. And that happens here and there. But that should not be your go-to way to handle your feelings, right? If you have certain feelings and you don't have
like when I get angry or whatever, I'll exercise because I used to eat. And it's not you know what I
You're
found
still left with your feelings afterwards, aren't you?
Yes, and also I didn't feel any better afterwards, and then I felt bad about myself because I usually ate something that wasn't healthy.
Right.
And at least when I exercise, I can like in my brain go through what's really bothering me and like really pound it out, and then afterwards I actually feel better. Well, one, because I've got endorphins going, but two, because I actually was able to process the stuff. Yeah. Whereas when you're just eating,
you're numbing.
You are. It's a Band-Aid and you're not processing. You're just eating.
Yeah.
So it's not at all beneficial.
Right. Not the way to go. So it happens once in a while, but that should not be the way you deal with things. I'll tell you what's a little side note here. Good exercise, just for a little plug, is kickboxing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Good stress reliever.
It is, yeah.
So, so you really want to have a plan for managing stress and managing emotions. And the plan should not involve food.
Okay.
Food is not a good way to manage those things.
No.
Yeah. Respecting your body.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we all have a mean voice in our heads. When we look in the mirror.
Yes.
And it goes right to the thing you hate the most, right? Takes you right there and reminds you, like, this thing, I don't like this. I don't like this part. That's the worst.
Yeah. Or like if you don't do something to like the exact, level that you wanted to do, or you didn't do as well as you thought you were going to do, then you're like, you suck.
Right. We are so hard on ourselves.
We really are. We are our worst critic.
Yes. Have you ever like during like bathing suit shopping season? Like if you're in the changing room, I mean, people are brutal. Right? And they're just like, it is the worst. I mean, that's a whole other thing about the lighting in there.
Oh gosh.
It does not flatter.
I don't even, swimsuits and
it's terrible. But like I mean, just take that and, scale it down, and that's our normal. Like, we are just always like that. We would never talk to a friend like that.
No.
Like, not in a million years, the way we talk to ourselves.
Do you know, once I was talking to myself that way, actually, I think I was, like, mumbling or something, and I was in the bathroom mumbling to myself, and my daughter was actually on the other side, and she comes in and she goes, that wasn't very nice. And that is not at all how I think of you. And so you shouldn't either.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, it really was. And I was like, thank you. I needed to hear that, And she'll a lot of times when I'm being hard on myself, she'll say, I think you're doing a good job, Mom. Which I think is cool.
The sweetest. Yeah. Yes. So we need more of that. So the next time you
like that girl, have you seen that one little girl that it's like on the YouTube and Facebook? She's like, you are the best. I love your curly hair, and I love your clothes, and I love your mom. And you're like, have you seen her? And I was like, you rock.
Yes.
Like that's what we all need.
That's what we need. Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. When you hear mean voice, you need to call it out. You need to be aware of it. And you need a mantra to drown it out with. Yeah. Okay. Maybe something like the slow girl. Maybe not like, it doesn't have to be that crazy. But you need at least something. Yeah. And it could just be like, shut up, mean voice. Yeah. Like, nobody wants you here.
You're not welcome.
You are not welcome here.
Today I have a lovely shade of blue and green on. And so that's all I need to know.
That's right.
Right?
So you pick something else, and it's something physical about your body, because if you're trying to counteract a mean voice about your body, pick something that you like, and something that you don't mind at least. Start there, okay? It might be hard to find something you really like, depending on where you're at. But find something and be like, you know what, though? I have nice earlobes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like
voice.
My toenails are pretty today.
I've got nice nail beds.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, right? Just something.
You know, we all have that one thing.
Yes, we do have a thing. So we need to really overpower that mean voice. We need to overcome all of our issues. We don't have to embrace every aspect of our bodies, okay?
Right.
And it's okay to even want to change things. Like, I'm not saying let go of stuff that you're not happy about, but I'm saying don't let it define you.
And don't let it defeat you.
And don't let it defeat you. Like, don't let it bring you down, because no matter, like, you could lose 50 pounds and that thing that you don't like, it could still be there.
Right?
Like, how would that be? That'd be terrible, right?
I know.
So you really want to be careful about, you know, not accepting yourself the way you are now. Like, you really need to work on that, because being defeatist doesn't help you, you know, in the long term take care of yourself.
And it won't get you onto the right track of listening to your body cues. So.
No, it does the opposite of that. So another thing here, exercise, feel the difference. And what that means is that you exercise because you like it.
Yeah,
because it feels good.
Releases endorphins.
Because it serves a purpose. It may not be like fun for everyone,
right?
But it serves a purpose for you. So you don't like make yourself run if you hate running. I hate running. So
I like to run.
I don't run. That's not my thing.
But I like to bike.
Okay.
Too.
Yeah. I mean, the things that you don't mind doing, or that you enjoy, or they feel purposeful to you.
Yes.
You do them, but you don't make yourself do stuff that feels like work.
Right.
If it feels like work, you know, you're doing it wrong. Right. You're not going to stick with it. You need to find something different.
And, you know, the recommendation is for at least 30 to 60 minutes of cardiovascular exercise on most days of the week. But what they've found is that you don't have to do that 30 to 60, because sometimes that's like daunting, you know, you're like,
I don't have an hour.
Where am I going to find that, you know? So you can actually break it up into like 10-minute increments throughout your day.
Right.
And so, you know, when your coworker is taking a smoke break, you can take an exercise break and do a walk
for 10 minutes,
or whatever. Yeah. So, you know, that is a good way to get your exercise. And it's going to release endorphins, which is going to make you feel better. And when you feel better, guess what? You're going to want to do some more exercise. Plus, sometimes that, like, you know, that after exercise kind of burn that you get, sometimes that feels good. It's like one of those hurt so good things, you know? Like I did something.
That's right. And it also wakes you up, right? So if you, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you went for a 10-minute walk, your brain is going to work a lot better than the person who sat at their desk the whole time and they're like falling asleep.
Right. They hit the brick wall.
Yes. So that is the thing about exercise that I will just say, that you need to find something somewhat enjoyable, not painful.
Yeah.
And then there's honoring your health. And that is just, you know, doing all of these things plus whatever else your body needs to be cared for.
Right.
So if it's, you know.
You said that at one time there's like a workbook, right?
Right.
So we should show this.
So here's the thing about intuitive eating. It is something that I do in my practice, and it's really a process that I take my clients through, and it takes a long time. It's different for everybody. Some of the people just come to me and we work on it together. Other people like to read the book on intuitive eating, and other people might use the workbook. But an alternative is to do the workbook on your own, which I think is what it was originally designed for.
Sure.
I've had people have good results, you know, doing both, like talking with me in you know, during visits, and then doing some of the other stuff on their own.
Well, sometimes it's helpful to have that guidance, you know. Or this is what I tell people is that, you know, sometimes we need someone to hold us accountable, especially in the beginning. So working with you and doing the book.
Right.
You know, you have you to help hold you accountable.
Because otherwise you might like really drag the process out over like a really long time. And really there's no normal pace that you need to take it at. But you're going to make more progress if you're working with somebody than if you're just like, oh, let me pick up this book, and then you know, you fall asleep after 2 pages. So this is what it is. It's the intuitive eating book. And these two lovely ladies here, they originally wrote the intuitive eating book The original one back in the early 90s, I believe. So this concept has been around for quite a while. And I just think it's the best thing ever.
Cool.
And yeah.
I like it. It's like reintroducing your own cues to yourself, which is good because we lose them.
And it makes so much sense and it sounds so simple, but that doesn't mean easy. Not. It is simple, but it's not easy. That's the difference.
Yeah. And have a good day. Bye.